Good morning from Big Sky Country. I'm Stacy, owner of Montana Used Bricks, and today I am doing another food for thought video. I haven't done one of these since March, and I have to be honest, this is probably the third time I've tried recording this, so we're gonna hopefully get through it this time. I've had a bunch of interruptions and I'm a little bit scatterbrained today, so I decided to chuck everything I did before and try this a third time. So we'll give it a try. So these came from the Facebook Worldwide Bricklink Buyers and Sellers group. And when I did this 8 months ago, it was a lot easier to find questions, but I noticed this time when I went in to look for questions or to see if there was anything in there that was worth discussing, I realized that now there's a lot of stores that just put their sales in there or how many parts they've uploaded and that sort of thing. So it took me a little bit to find some good questions. I don't know if these are good. I thought they were interesting, so we'll give it a try and see what you guys think. I am looking for feedback on quite a few of these because I know how I handle the situation, but I would be very interested to hear how other stores handle these things. How many buyers with zero feedbacks that place orders do you get that end up being NPBs? Considering not letting zero feedbacks place orders in my store due to the time wasters I've had recently. So usually the NPBs are only an issue if you're not using instant checkout. If you're doing manual invoice, then there's an opportunity where they're not going to pay. So my suggestion to this person would be use instant checkout. And everybody runs their store differently. If you don't want to allow zero feedback users to buy from your store, then that's fine. I've been doing this for almost 8 years now, and I was doing this before instant checkout. And even then, I have to say that the non-paying buyers was minimal. And it wasn't necessarily people who had zero feedback that were the non-paying buyers. I think maybe out of all my non-paying buyers, maybe 3 or 4 of them were first-time users to Bricklink. Even that might be a little high. So I've never really had issues with first-time buyers on Bricklink. There were some comments under this, and one of them was the same as me, use instant checkout, never had a problem, more than happy to let these new buyers come into my store. And I'm the same way. Everybody started as a zero feedback. You want to give those people an opportunity to buy, to become a good Bricklink user. If you give them great service, they're going to come back to your store. They're going to make your store a favorite, and they're going to come back to your store before they look at other stores. So you want to welcome new Bricklinkers to your store and accept those zero feedbacks. If you don't, that's totally fine. That's up to you. That's great, because I'm more than happy to take those people that can't shop in your store. So that's the way I look at it. I would be interested if anybody else has their store set up where they don't allow zero feedback users into their store. And what's the threshold? You know, how many positive feedback do they have to have before you'll allow them to shop in your store? And I'm not degrading those stores at all. Like I said, that's totally up to them. I get it. If you're doing manual invoice, it could be a pain if you're getting a lot of those non-paying buyers. Like always, put it in the comments below. Let me know what you think. Hey everyone, I am wondering if anyone here is running a store and also has kids. How do you manage that? Are you allowed to let them play with everything they see, especially items like minifigures and weapons, or do you set certain boundaries? So as you know, I don't have kids at home. I have grandkids that do come over. They do help me. They do play with the Lego, but we do have boundaries. If they're helping to sort through stuff and break things apart, if they want to set little pieces aside to build whatever they want, they're more than welcome to do that. They're used parts anyway. If they do get scratched or damaged, they're going to end up in my filler box. So it's not a big deal. They, of course, do not help with the new stuff. My husband does all that, or the minifigures, because my husband handles all the minifigures, and they're usually pulled out before the kids get to the point where they're helping me to sort or break things apart. My granddaughter loves Lego, and she knows that when she's out in my shop, there's only certain things she's allowed to touch. We have a little set out here for her to play with if she gets bored. but my sets are off limits. She's not allowed to touch any of my sets because they're mine. But she does know that she can dig into the boxes that I have that are not yet in inventory, and if she wants to dig through those and build something, she's more than welcome to do that. So we do have certain boundaries when it comes to the kids. Now, my grandkids are not here full time. I'm not sure if mine are a little bit different than somebody who has kids full time. So I would be interested to see how you handle it if you have kids that want to play with your inventory. How do you handle that? I am sure this has been asked before, but what decides new versus used pieces? Does it have to come straight from the box to be new? Just curious other people's thoughts and opinions. My thought on this, if it comes straight from a box, it's new. If I'm getting it off of eBay, it's used. With the exception, occasionally we will get new parts in the bag where the bag has not been opened, and we consider those new parts. So those will go into our new inventory. For the most part, if the bag, even if the bag has been open and it still looks like all the original parts are in there, if that bag's just tore open even a little bit to get the minifigs out, we're going to put that as new because we have no idea if they took stuff out and put stuff in. And so in that case, we wouldn't. Any sealed bag from Lego is going to be considered new to us. So this brings up the question for your store, if you are buying in bulk and you get those little bags that aren't opened, do you consider those used because they didn't come directly from the box? Or are you considering those new because, like me, you realize they have not been touched at that point? I think I know the answer to this, but I'll ask anyway. If I don't have a shipping method that allows for quotes, but I have parts set so customers need a quote before they can pay, does that automatically send them to the quote process? And the reason I added the comments on this, because I was a little confused by this myself. It says, you mean manual invoice? Manual invoice and quote are two different things, and they are. The manual invoice is used if somebody is definitely ordering from your store. Once they do the manual invoice, they have to pay you, or you have to go through the non-paying buyer process. But they are obligating themselves to buy those parts regardless of what your shipping charges are. For those, that's a manual invoice. I use manual invoice on orders that are more than 16 ounces, and certain instruction manuals will cause it to go into a manual invoice. And that doesn't happen too often. For the most part, it's instant checkout and everything works great. For the quotes, and I do have quotes set up in my store because I know there's times where these parts kind of skew the shipping, especially if they're long, awkward parts like the old airplane wings and that kind of thing. They'll kind of skew the charges, and I realize everybody's going to charge a little bit differently for those. So I have the quote process set up, and what they'll do is they'll get the quote, and then I will tell them what the shipping will be, and I'm locked into that shipping price. So if they accept that quote, that's the shipping that they're going to have. And it gives them the opportunity, if they look at that and go, oh man, that's really expensive to have that shipped, I don't need that part that badly, then they can just ignore that quote and go to another store. If they decide to accept it, then they will pay for it just like instant checkout, and we can finish the ordering process. Hopefully I explained that well. Like I said, I'm a little bit scatterbrained today, so if it's not making sense, please correct me in the comments below. I won't take offense at all. If you do or don't use the quote process, put your reasoning in the comments below, because I know some people have it set up, some people don't, and I would be interested to see some pros and cons of having the quotes. Okay, this last one has to do with taxes, and different tax questions seem to come up quite a bit. Looking for advice with taxes on selling. What do you do when buying bulk lots off of Facebook, yard sale, etc., and paying cash? What do you do to show costs of those items to write off from profits? As I've said many times before, my husband and I hired an accountant about 1.5 years into the business just because we realized we didn't know what we were doing. And all the information that she's ever asked for is how much we paid for inventory, not a breakdown of where it came from or whether we paid cash or credit or any of that. She's never asked for any of that. She's just asked, how much did you pay for your inventory during that calendar year? There were some comments that said that they don't even worry about it if they're buying bulk parts from garage sales or whatever. They don't worry about it. I have to be honest, I do. I put that on my taxes. We have basically what we call an out of pocket. And for those type of things, I put it in that category of out of pocket. It's still designated for being inventory. It just means that we paid cash for it and it didn't come out of any of our business accounts as such. So that's what we do. Again, I'm curious, do other people worry about it when you're buying bulk lots from a yard sale or from some other place? We just recently purchased $63 worth of Lego from a yard sale just a couple of blocks from us, and I will definitely be putting that down on my taxes because it is a write-off. It's a business expense, so for us it's worth doing. So let me know what you do. So that's it for this video. I'm sorry it seems like I'm a little bit scatterbrained. There's been a lot going on that has nothing to do with Lego, and it's been really hard for me to focus, but I'm hoping as we get into fall and winter, I will get back in the groove of the videos, and I will also get back in the groove of adding to inventory so I can get back in the groove of having orders. That would be really nice too. And I don't usually do this. I don't usually beg for subscribers, but I gotta tell you, I am very close to 1,000 subscribers, which would be a lot of fun to see. So if you haven't subscribed and you've been watching my videos, if you could do that, I would really appreciate it. Even if you don't want to do that, at least give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, do something so that I know that you're enjoying these videos so that I'm motivated to continue to do them. Because as I've said for the last year, I've been struggling for ideas on videos. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you really liked it, hit the subscribe button, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.